Francesca.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. For me, it's a great pleasure to be here today to take part to the masterclass devoted to science communication. I would like to thank the European Commission for this important initiative that will lead us to stimulating discussions. And I also would like to thank our speakers that decided to share their experience about science communication with us. And for me, as an early stage researcher, this class will definitely represent an excellent opportunity for enriching my communication skills. My name is Francesca Stramandinoli. Sorry, I cannot see the slides. My name is Francesca Stramandinoli. I'm originally from Calabria in the south of Italy, where I also received my bachelor degree in computer science engineering and my master degree in automation engineering. During my study at the University of Calabria, I had an excellent opportunity of achieving a strong knowledge in engineering disciplines, but my scientific, apart from few months that I spent at the University of Budapest as a part of an Erasmus placement program, my scientific interaction was mainly confined to the local academic environment. And I believe that international mobility is a key factor for the scientific and personal growth of a researcher. That's why in January 2010, I decided to move to Plymouth in the southwest of England, where I started my PhD in cognitive developmental robotics under the supervision of Professor Angelo Cangelosi. In Plymouth, I work in the Adaptive Behavior and Cognition Lab as a Marie Curie early stage researcher and in the Robodoc Initial Training Network. And thanks to this project, I had the chance to join a well-established research team in Europe and to improve my research skills, and also to take part in many conferences and in multidisciplinary conferences and workshops, where and comprising also events related to personal effectiveness, personal development. And I think it's very important to have also this kind of experience at the beginning of your career. Currently, for my research studies, I'm developing a robotic model for the acquisition of abstract language in the ICAB humanoid robots. And indeed, language is a very powerful tool for human beings to interact with the environment and also to communicate ideas, thoughts, feelings, and science as well. Carrying out my research studies, I found a very interesting definition about communication that I would like to share with you. According to Giacomo Rizzolatti and Michael Arbib, in all communication, sender and receiver must be bound by a common understanding about what counts. What counts for the sender must count for the receiver, else communication does not occur. And I believe that what counts for a scientist, is to disseminate scientific information, to contribute to educate the general public about science, and to put the general public in the condition to take important decisions, being aware of the matter they are asked to decide. And also, this could also contribute to have the general public with a positive attitude towards science. And in some cases, what counts for a journalist may not totally match with what counts for a scientist. For example, the goal of a journalist could be not only to inform, but in some cases even to entertain more than conveying the scientific findings. And some scientific reports may lose the actual focus of the message we want to convey, and they could put lots of emphasis on aspects that was not our intention to emphasize. And I wonder to what extent the words of Carolina Gorney may depict the relations between science and communication. In 1992, she said that the emphasis on newsworthiness can create distortion in reporting of scientific findings, characterized by the charge of sensationalistic coverage. And from this perspective, according to the definition I gave before, communication does not occur at all. So, For today's discussions, I would like to put my topic in tandem together with Jeremy, and my question to the masters would be how to open up science to general public by taking advantage of the powerful outreach of media without running the risk of losing through and trust of the message we want to convey. Thank you.
Grazie mille, Francesca. Now, I'm inviting the two masters to provide feedback, comments, and grill you maybe a little bit. Please. Leo.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think Francesca has raised, obviously, one of the fundamental issues about the interaction between journalists and scientists. And I suppose, in a sense, raises once again this issue of the importance of having an educated science journalist cadre within the Union. This is absolutely critical to a proper conversation between science and journalists. One of the most common causes of exactly this problem that Francesca highlighted is the extent to which general news reporters are being thrown into the task of reporting scientific discoveries and scientific issues without any background in this. This is a serious failing within the training of journalists, and one that I think if we're looking for action points out of a meeting like this, I certainly think that there should be a lot more effort made by the scientific community to impress upon those who teach journalists the importance of an intensive module in the reporting of science. I think that would be my comment.
Thank you. Claudie?
Oui, je pense que...
I think that there can be a difference, indeed, between the angle of the journalist, the angle of the scientist, and the receiver, i.e. the general public. I think there are two things in every message you want to get over. There's the content, the knowledge, and the way in which one undertakes the research and achieves the result. And I think today it is rare that we talk about the approach, the errors, the tests, the trials, the assumptions, how one has finally got through to the result. And journalists often give a version, and elsewhere one might hear another version from an expert. And then you get involved in some difficult debates and controversies. Certainly that's what I feel in France. Climate change, for example, that whole discussion. But I think also we need to educate the public and the communicators who are journalists. They have to be educated to explain the approach and the difficulties. And I mean, on complex subjects, technology is complex today, science is complex. So why shouldn't we have something that exists in UK today, science media centres, where journalist communities enter into dialogue with scientific communities, they spend time together, and there, generally speaking, information is better received, passes better from the broadcaster to the receiver, as it were. I mean, I had some media training at one stage in my career, so as to learn to speak in a particular way, so that what I was saying could be properly perceived and understood by the person on the receiving end. So journalists should look at the whole process of research, and so journalists should be in contact with scientists so that they can know what that whole process is, and that then they can pass on a message which is going to be understood and received appropriately by everybody.
Now, I would like to invite Jeremy to take the floor. It's all yours. And it's a different sides of the discussion here, because Jeremy is not a scientist, he's a journalist, actually. And if you're familiar with Euronews, you certainly know him already. Jeremy.